not talking about your business every single day, then are you really running a business? JD said it yesterday. The CEO has to do everything before he or she can get others to do some things. And a lot of your buyers don't come dressed the way you want them to come dressed. A lot of your buyers don't come in the skin color that you want to do business with, but you're leaving money on the table. Don't quit. Bethany just gave y'all some really great information. We're just going to go a little bit deeper into some of those things. But again, I'm Janine K. Brown. I'm the founder and CEO of Everyday Lead, and we are a global consultancy helping companies retain talent. And the interesting thing about me is that I have been doing sales longer than I realized I have been selling. And so have some of you. When I first started my career, I was about 27 years old when I made manager at Deloitte, and they slid this piece of paper over and said, you know what? You got to bring in $1.5 million to this company. $1.5 million. And guess what? I brought in $1.5 million. Didn't have to do it all alone, but that is how my sales journey started. And so if I can do it at 27 and have been doing it for over 20 years, so can you. And so I'm here to inspire you, but also give you some tricks of the trade on how to make that happen. B2B selling, business to business. A lot of these concepts that we're going to talk about, you can use also for B2C. But when I talk about business to business, I'm talking about corporations. And it's possible because I came to TSP to do this thing. I was writing this book, and I was like, okay, how do I get this out to consumers? Because I know how to sell to businesses. And if you're looking to sell anything, TSP is where you need to be. And so selling this book wasn't that hard because I know how to sell to businesses. So I took one product while running a consulting firm, totally different, similar business, but running this one firm. And in 1 year of writing this book, I made a little under $200,000 for a book. And let's talk about how we did that. So, you won't see in my title, best-selling author, but what you will see, the woman who sold thousands of books in less than a year while doing another business. Now, if I could have focused all of my attention on selling this book, I would have 4x, 5x this number, right? So this was without a team focused on this product. This was me selling 300 books to Bank of America in Charlotte, 200 books to Wells Fargo, 150 books to the women of Delta at the World Port over at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. Selling the book, no discounts, right? Y'all think that you have to give your stuff away in order for people to want it, and that's not true. Not one corporation asked me, well, Janine, if we buy more than X number of books, do we get a discount? And guess what? I didn't even offer it. And I offered me coming in, doing Q&A with them for no less than $7,000. Just Q&A. No fancy speeches. I'm just going to answer questions. So that means y'all folks better read my book. Right? So it's possible to do it. And so I want you to think about that because companies are being asked by their employees to provide services on top of services on top of services. Companies are providing more care for their employees than ever before in the history of employment. They want everything. They want you to provide tutoring services to their children, financial literacy services to their new employees and their young employees. They want you to pay for their professional headshots, and they want branding information, right? You name it, it's on this wall. I tried to look at all the businesses that are in TSP, and this is what companies buy. They hire people to teach their employees how to do public speaking. They hire businesses to come manage their events. They hire businesses for photography services. They hire businesses like yours. So don't think that you don't have a product or a service that they need. Because again, what did I say? Employees are demanding that their employers provide them all sorts of services. And how do I know? I sit in these rooms. And companies, because of the need to retain talent and recruit talent, they're providing all of these services. And so we'll talk about how you can incorporate some of those services. So who is the buyer? There are 8 billion people in the world. And if you have how many of you are serving all 8 billion people? How many of you don't need any more revenue? Let's start there. Y'all done all maxed out? Right? This is a room of people who don't need no more clients, right? So if there's 8 billion people in the world, and I told you you had to service 1% of those people, how many people would that be? This is not a math class, I'll give you the answer. It's 80 million people, right? So if you just say, okay, I'm gonna try to reach 80 million people. How many of you can do that? There was 1,100 people that signed up for this particular conference. How many conferences does Lamar have to do to hit 80 million people? Right, so there's plenty of room to touch everybody, and everybody is your buyer. How many of you don't like talking to strangers? Raise your hands high. I don't like talking to strangers. Well, you don't deserve to be a CEO. You don't. You don't. You don't. If you don't feel comfortable talking to strangers, you'll never get to that 1% of the number of people in business. You don't. Because if you're not talking about your business every single day, then are you really running a business? JD said it yesterday. The CEO has to do everything before he or she can get others to do some things. And a lot of your buyers don't come dressed the way you want them to come dressed. A lot of your buyers don't come in the skin color that you want to do business with, but you're leaving money on the table. And I'm going to give you a good example. Most of y'all know I ride hard for my university, right? Mastermind, I ride hard for Alabama State University. Right, April? If you do any business in the college and university space, and you don't talk to me, you're missing out. But I don't come dressed the way you think I'm going to look. But guess what? I'm the vice chair of my university's board of directors. I had this happen to me right here. I didn't know a particular product existed. And you can't get offended if don't nobody know your product exists. I am the buyer on our board. I oversee how we spend our money, where we place. Guess what? We got recruitment issues. We need more students on our campus. If I tell you I ain't never heard of your product, Angela, but you're trying to get into universities, do you turn your back and get mad because I ain't never heard of your product? No. You say, oh, let me tell you about it. Why are you interested in this? And I said, oh, because, I'm deeply involved in my university. Like, we have to talk to everyone about what we do. And you can't get tired of it. I've even gotten on Lamar about that. Don't get on no plane, put your headphones on, and not talk to the person next to you in that seat, because you never know who they are, where they're coming from. You ain't got to talk the whole flight. And just because they fly Southwest does not mean is Freddie here? So how do you contact your prospects, right? So Bethany mentioned this earlier, cold emails. How many of y'all hate getting emails from people you don't know? And that's the other thing. Stop doing business from your frame of reference. What irritates you, you need to put that aside. It's a mindset issue. I open my email every day. I got 4 or 5 emails from people I do not know trying to sell me all sorts of services. And I be like, they hustling. Let me get on my emails, right? You don't want to, no new friends? All that stuff you get from the streets and the neighborhoods you come from, you cannot bring that into your businesses. You can't. I'm always looking for new friends and always looking to introduce other people. So email, cold email, leads to making a phone call, right? You have to call and talk to people on the phone. Posting in DMs on LinkedIn and other social media. The one thing I love about finding clients on LinkedIn is that a lot of companies post topics, right? So say I want to do work with, say a company. Southwest, yes, Southwest. Actually, I do some work with Southwest, so let's say Southwest. So Southwest Airlines, based in Texas, they're posting about things. Say they're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. And I respond to a post that they have, like, oh, this is so amazing. I might even respond contrary to the post. Not about Hispanic Heritage Month, but maybe to say they're saying something. This happened to me. Responded to a post. Before I knew it, the person whoever's managing that account saw it from that company. I went back to LinkedIn. They had checked my profile. They came to my website, downloaded our course catalog, and then signed up for our newsletter. So we have an automated email when you download our course catalog, said thank you so much, and then we follow up 2 days later. But what I did is I jumped in and sent another email before the second day came out and said, I would personally like to talk with you, right? That's how you can use social media to build your business. In-person networking, events like this, conferences and trade shows. How many of you go to conferences for industries that you want to work in? Right, you have to go to those. So if you want to move into the accounting and finance space, go and work with investment bankings or work with wealth management companies for sponsorship or to do business with them. Go to their conferences. Attend their conferences. Sit in the room with their people who are getting continuing professional education and network with them because they are probably the buyer that you're looking for. Right? Or participate as a vendor, sponsor an event at those places. Speaking engagements. I'm a paid professional speaker, but when I take an unpaid speaking engagement, it's 100% a lead magnet. Your speaking can be a revenue line, and it also should be a lead magnet in the work that you do. And then from that, you're probably standing in front of audiences where you have buyers. So conferences in big cities that are big conferences with industries that you want to get in front of, apply to be a speaker. Use that as a lead magnet to sell to the businesses in the room. Pick topics that are really important to them and get in programs like Master Storyteller, all the storytelling academies. We have some amazing storytellers and speaking academies here at Mastermind that will help you sell from the stage. Right, and so you can sell and speak on these topics, and before you know it, they're looking at you as what? A subject matter expert in that topic, and you're gonna come top of mind. We bring in 20% of our business comes from me speaking on stages at conferences. And right there in the room, because what happens after you finish speaking, those of you who speak? People, y'all could teach this class. Referrals. Lamar talked about referrals yesterday. I'm not going to get too deep into that. Sponsorships are another way to work. Paid ads. Terry and Brianna did a great job on that. And then planes, trains, and hotel lobbies. This is my biggest pet peeve with business owners. Y'all don't want to talk to people. And I get it. I'm tired. I'm an introvert too. I know some of y'all be like, no, she ain't. Yes, I am. I need my energy just like everybody else. But it's not about being an introvert. It's not even about being shy or timid or all the words that you want to say that hold you back from speaking to people. Talk about your business. I was on a flight. I forgot where I was going, but I was on a flight, and the woman that sat down, she was looking all rushed and hustled. She was like rushed. I was like, you all right? I just randomly like, you all right over there? And she started laughing, and we started talking. And I was like, hey, why are you going to this city? Do you live there? She was like, no, I live here in Atlanta. I said, I do too. And then we started talking about what we do. I asked her, I was like, is this personal? And it's real easy. Is this personal or are you traveling for work? She was like, oh, I'm traveling for work. I asked her what she does. She works for a big brand here in Atlanta. She asked me what I did. And I said, you know, one of the things that we've been doing a lot of is talking about psychological safety at work. She was like, oh my God. We just had a huge meeting about that last week. I said, you know what? I'd love to have dinner with you when we both get back to Atlanta and we can talk about it. In 3 weeks, they became a client. We set that meeting, exchanged information, and we didn't talk to each other the rest of the flight. We didn't. And it doesn't mean that you have to give up all of your personal time to close these deals. And so let's talk about in the book that you have, you'll see that I've included a couple of columns for you to do some work. I'm a coach, I give out homework. And I do it in Mastermind too. Anybody's ever called me, I'm giving y'all homework before y'all get off the calls with me. Hot leads. Bethany talked about it a little bit. If you don't go through your phone first, if Toya's in here, we were talking about how she started her business. Going through the phone to make calls and say, hey, this is what I do. Because a lot of people don't know what you do, they forget. And say, this is what I do. You know anybody who needs these services? If you know anybody, send them my way. Warm leads, right? These are people who know you. You might know them. They may have seen you. They may have heard of you. They know they might need a solution like yours, and you outreach to them. And then cold leads. You don't know those people don't know you. But I'm going to tell you one thing, cold calling is not dead. And if there are any salespeople in this room, that is back to the basics kind of outreach. If you want to do business with corporations, you need to make calls because businesses still want to do business with companies who call them, sales teams who reach out to them. The data says it, right? It's the way to transform your relationship as a stranger into a prospect. It's the best way. It's even the fastest way. Because what we know for sure is that those people are not representing themselves. So they ain't going to be too nasty to you when they call. They're representing their company. And so if you're calling them and their responsibility is to fulfill services within their organization, they have an obligation to talk to you. Think about that. It's their business within Coca-Cola, Delta Airlines, UPS, Honeywell, any of these big companies to do business with you. And your responsibility is to call and talk to them. Cold calling statistics say that 69% of buyers report accepting at least one or more call from a stranger. 82% of buyers for companies say that they have accepted meetings from salespeople, CEOs of companies, from all of you, after a series of contacting them, beginning with a sale cold call. Am I right? $1 million tequila? Right, tequila knows. Every day they call. 56% of salespeople follow up. 56% of salespeople follow up. 56% of salespeople follow up after receiving a negative, a no, a nope. I ain't got time to talk to you. How you get my number? Why are you calling me? I don't know you. They still follow up. You cannot be afraid of rejection. Because there's a yes behind every no. I hear no, I'm like, okay, no, not right now. They say no, oh, maybe tomorrow. They say no, we put them in our CRM, follow up in 12 days. 78% of sales reps say using social media as a tool to research your prospect. There are AI tools out there now. There's a site called NowSite that Tony turned us on to that will give you data about the person you're calling. So say you want to call me. You want to sell me on your photography services because you've been out to our website and you recognize, oh, Jenny, you have great pictures of yourself and your team, but all the rest of the pictures on your website is stock photo. Have you ever considered using your team when you guys are out speaking, working for clients, and replacing stock photos with your team photos on your website? You can use a site like NowSite and tell you how to talk to me, where I get my information, what's going to move me, right? There's all this data about y'all. Y'all don't want no new friends, but AI is all up in your business, and they consider you their friend, right? They know all about you. They will say, Crystal Swain Bates, We know what you like. We know you love freedom. You like to travel. She and her husband be out doing all the things. This is how you need to talk to her. This is how you need to structure an email when you reach out to her. AI is a great way to get what you want. I want y'all to say with me, 10, 10, 5, 50, 37, 20. Let's go. 10, 10, 5, 50, 37, 20. This is the formula. 10 questions. Ask the prospect. They don't care about your product, your service, until you care about them. Cold calling is about asking questions. You need to ask more questions than you give information when you first call. That's hot, warm, and cold, really. Because you don't really know what problem you're solving for your client if you're not asking them questions. Many things come from asking questions. The big two is, one, you'll find out what the needs and the pain points are of the person that you're talking to right now. And then you'll discover other services and products that you can create for your existing client and other future clients. Because if you talk to 4 companies and they are complaining about the same problem and you're trying to provide a solution, how many other companies have that issue? And then before you know it, you have created a whole new product to fill a whole new issue and need that companies have. 10 seconds to convince your prospect to talk to you. Do not get on the phone talking to them. Hey, Holly, it's so good to speak to you. Did you have a good weekend? I hope you had a great weekend, girl. You know, none of that. The weather, it's been raining in Atlanta. We never get rain in June. No, you got to get straight to it. Hi, Holly, this is Janine. I'm calling from the Everyday Lead. You know, the last time I talked to you, go jump right into it. Hi, Holly, this is Janine from Everyday Lead. I hope you got my email. I'm following up on that because one of the things that I really want to hear about is how you are keeping your team motivated because your company has been going through a lot of reorganizations. I heard your company was just purchased by Discovery. What's that going to be like? Right? What are the concerns that y'all have? 5 minutes and 50 seconds is a successful length of a cold call. If you can get to that number, they will probably stay on the phone with you. They will probably stay on the phone with you. Because in that 5 minutes or less than 60 seconds, you're asking questions. They're doing all the talking. 37 seconds, that's all you got is to pitch what you can do for them. If you can do it in less than 37 seconds, and I want y'all to practice that. Practice talking about your solution. And if you can do it in less than 37 seconds, definitely less than a minute, you could probably close anybody, anytime. If you cannot tell me how you can solve my problem, and you caught up and you got like word soup everywhere, you don't know what the solution is that you can provide. Economy of words. That's a game changer. Clear, concise, direct, and get out of there. 20 seconds. 20 calls. 20 calls. Let's just say 20 is the number of calls to reach at least one prospect. 20, 25. So like Jermaine Dupree said yesterday, every time you get off the phone, you're starting over at 1. Hello? They didn't answer. Start over at 1. I don't care how many deals you close, every call is different. And approach it as such. Right? So and that's a lot, right? 25 calls, you might close one person. 25 calls, you might get 2 people to respond to the email that you sent before the call. 25 calls, you may get 2 people to call back. But leave a message. And what you want to know in this buying process is, do they have a budget? It doesn't have to be in this order. When you get these people on the phone, you want to qualify them. Do they have a budget for what you want to offer? Are they willing to pay? Do they have the authority to even have this conversation with you? Who's the buyer? So hot, warm, and cold leads. Your warm lead might work at the company. They might have to help you. Your hot lead might have to help you find the person that has the authority to close the call. Do they need what you have? Do you have the formula to answer the problem that they have? And then how soon do they want to do the work? And how soon do you need to send the contract? Because the one thing you don't want to do is get super excited, put all this work into doing a proposal, and they're a year out from making a decision. In that year out, you want to be nurturing that relationship, because B2B selling is not a tango. You are not, no, it's not fast at all. It is a key sweat, make it last forever, slow drag. It really is. It is. And you cannot be weary. You can't get frustrated. You cannot give up. You know, so we call this BANTS. You cannot. You can't say they ain't gonna never call me back. And you can't get an attitude and say, I done called them twice. If they want to do business with me, they better call me. You need revenue. You can't. We get arrogant and all in our feelings and all the things. I'm so glad Mike laughing. I feel like I done won some comedy points. Right? So you can't. Because the money is in the follow-up. Follow-up. Teresa done closed 4 universities. Because she showed up for our call on Fridays. And I started these calls. I was like, y'all, I'm going to give y'all 4 weeks of training. That 4 weeks of training turned into 14 months. And she done closed 4 colleges who were not even, she didn't know how she was going to get these clients. It's in the follow-up. It's email, call, respond to a post on their social media, email, call, say it with me, email, call. The money is in the follow-up. And use a CRM system. Keep notes on what you've talked to them about. Who's answered the phone? When's the last time you talked to them? Right? It does require a lot of staying on top of it, but you get a good client relationship management system. You can put automations in there to remind you to call. You can automate it so it'll send the follow-up email for you. If you use Google as your business service for your email, you can go ahead and write an email in Google, in your email server, date and time it for when you want it to go out. And maybe that person will call you back before you have that message scheduled. So just don't forget that. The name of the game is always be closing. Always be closing. And in order to always be closing, you have to talk to strangers. You can't take your attitude about making friends and building your personal relationship into your business, because you won't make money. You got 1% of the 80 million number of people on the planet to reach. So go get your 80,000 people. Thank you.